The Final Four, Chapter 22, Rocco Bakic, 7:59 p.m. With the game clock having run down inside of the 2 minutes and the Trojans trailing by 4 points, Rocco tugs at the back of Coach Kennedy's suit jacket from his seat on the bench. "Get me back into the game, Coach. I'm fine now," pleads Rocco. Kennedy pulls away from him and paces his sideline. "Prove it to me, Bull. Prove your head's clear," says Kennedy. "Give me a 4. 4. Rocky 4, with the Russian boxer. Shrek Forever After, says Rocco. Live Free or Die Hard, Star Wars Episodes 4, A New Hope. A 3, says Kennedy, turning to look directly into Rocco's eyes. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, The Matrix Revolutions, The Bourne Ultimatum, Spider-Man 3, with the Sandman in black costumed web slinger. A 2, says Kennedy, bringing his close facer to Rocco's. The Mummy Returns, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Too Fast, Too Furious, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. Is it completely out of the question? Kennedy asked the trainer, who's sitting next to Rocco. I'm satisfied he's thinking straighter, responds the trainer. It's your call, Coach. All right, get... Rocco springs off the bench before Kennedy can finish his words. The crowd roars and the players on the court take notice. Get back on the court and run the show for us, says Kennedy, following Rocco to the scorer's table. Give us that surge we need. I'll give you everything I've got, Coach, says Rocco, kneeling in front of the scorer's table, ready to check in. And as he prepares himself mentally to re-enter the game, out of the corner of his eye, Rocco glimpses Hope kicking her legs up high, cheering the Trojans on. So Rocco finally gets cleared to go back into the game. The Trojans have desperately been missing him there out on the court. So this is exciting news for the Trojan fans. And now we have a flashback to Rocco's journal. February 24th, 5 weeks ago. Tonight, I believe that hope came on to me. I'm almost totally convinced. We were at a crowded party in an apartment just a block off campus. It was before Crispin got there, while he was still finishing his deliveries. I had this strange feeling in my bones that Hope was smiling too much at me. At first, I thought it might be all my imagination, but then she came up to me and said up close in my ear, You know, I've always liked red hair. I think it's really cute on a guy. Thank you, I told her. Then I excused myself to the bathroom. That was probably best, because I had no other response, except maybe to say, I'm a playa hater, not a playa. I know she had at least 2 beers, so maybe it was the Budweiser talking. Then, shortly after Crispin arrived, I left. As I walked home, I was completely torn between 2 different things. Between friendship for Crispin and the idea of minding my own business. I understand that sometimes girls like to play stupid games to make their boyfriends jealous, and it's probably worse with a fiancé. I was also worried that telling Crispin could put a huge obstacle between us, hurting our chemistry on the court. And if I was wrong about her flirting, I would have looked like a total idiot. Then the idea came to me to call Coach Kennedy for advice. I used his emergency cell number and got him at home. I explained the whole messy situation, and he told me that I did the correct thing. I'm glad you called me at this, said Coach. Put the entire incident out of your mind like it never happened, and don't approach Crispin with any details. I've noticed how uptight he's been lately. When the time is right, I'll speak to him myself about the pressures of being engaged. So that's where I've left the problem for now, with Coach Kennedy, hoping for the best solution. So this makes more sense now, the pep talk that Rocco tried to give Crispin the night that Crispin caught Hope with another guy in the apartment. He comes back, just says, he's having some issues. And, Rocco gave him that advice, like, basically, hey, like, if it seems like something's probably wrong. And now this puts more context into that for us. The fact that, okay, Rocco was speaking from a point of Hope had tried to hit on him at a party. And, what do you do with that? Do you tell your friend that their girlfriend did that? Did you kind of imagine it? Is it taken out of context? What do you do? And so Rocco calls the coach, asks for advice, and coach says, hey, I'll eventually talk to Crispin about this. Okay, so Rocco tried his best. It's a sticky situation, no matter what. Live radio broadcast of the game, 7:59 p.m. There are 3 broadcasters, a play-by-play man, a color commentator, and a sideline reporter, Rachel Adams. Play-by-play man. Listen to this Superdome crowd roar as the Red Bull Rocco Bakic pops up off the Trojans bench. Color commentator. The kid from Croatia is all heart. He gives so much of himself. That's why he's so popular. But above all, this is a war, and you need warriors, your leaders. He'll have to be unconscious not to finish this contest. Play-by-play man. And on the court, a smart play by Troy's Aaron Boyce to send the ball out of bounds off a Spartan's leg. That stops the clock with 1:42 remaining and allows Bakic to enter the game. Okay, so even though they're exhausted, they're still, mentally there somewhat. So Crispin makes a play that allows Rocco to come back into the game for the Trojans. Color commentator. That's high basketball IQ right there with Boyce. Play-by-play man. Let's get a report from Rachel Adams. Rachel Adams. I could tell two things from behind the Trojans bench. That Rocco Bakic wanted back into this game badly, and that Coach Alvin Kennedy agonized over the decision to return his shaken point guard to action. But after a short conversation in which Kennedy seemed to be quizzing Bakic, trying to assess whether the cobwebs in his head had indeed cleared, the Red Bull is once again at the Trojans' helm. Play-by-play man. Bakic with the ball in his hands immediately. He's on the dribble, a beautiful crossover move. And just like that, he takes the ball at Malcolm McBride and scores on a driving layup. The Michigan State lead is cut to 2 points with 90 seconds left on the clock. Color commentator. McBride, with 4 fouls, played him soft, and the Bull took full advantage. That hasn't been the case with Troy's Crispin Rice, who despite his 4 fouls hasn't backed off on defense. Play-by-play man. McBride with the ball for the Spartans, Bakic right in front of him all the way. It'll be interesting to see how Red Bull negotiates those physical Michigan State screens, the type that put him out of action for several minutes. Here's one of those screens now. Grizzly Bear Cousins sets it high. McBride cuts around, shaking free of Bakic. A pair of Trojans converges on McBride. He shovels the ball to Cousins, who's fouled on the drive to the basket. Was that foul on Crispin Rice? If it is, he's finished for the night. Color commentator. There were a trio of Trojans surrounding Cousins on that drive. Boyce, Bakic, and Rice. And both Boyce and Bakic are raising their hands towards the scorer's table to say the foul was on them, trying to protect their teammate. Play-by-play man. And after a short consultation, the referees point to Aaron Boyce. They're saying the foul's on him. Coach Eddie Barker is furious on the Michigan State sideline. He's pointing towards Rice, slapping a hand down in his opposite wrist to say that's what he did. That's who fouled my player. Color commentator. If Barker had his voice and the refs could hear him, he might have picked up a technical right there. That foul is also Boyce's 4th of the game. One more, and he's gone. So we have this convergence of players, and Malcolm is fouled, but which Trojan fouled him? And of course, they can't lose Crispin. Crispin already has 4 fouls. He's their only tall guy out there. So both Rocco and Aaron Boyce are like, hey, it was me. I'm the one that fouled him. And so eventually the refs are like, okay, Aaron fouled him. Well, now you have a problem because now that's Aaron's 4th, but at least Crispin's still in the game. So you have several players now who have 4 fouls because this game has been going on for so long. Play-by-play man. Here's the first foul shot by Grizzly Bear Cousins. It's short. Color commentator. These players are exhausted. There's very little from the legs on that free throw attempt. I'd venture to say that only McBride and Red Bull have any explosiveness left. Play-by-play man. The second shot. This one's too strong, long off the iron. The Trojans control the rebound. Color commentator. He overcompensated for the first shot being short. Just as Michigan State looked like they were going to pull away, they can't seal the deal. Play-by-play man. Bakic with the ball, the crowd on their feet, 1:12 to go. The Trojans trailing by 2. And Red Bull eludes McBride. Michael Jordan has him now on the defensive switch. It's Bakic and Jordan. Jordan all over him. Bakic passes to Boyce. Boyce down low to Rice, who kicks it back out to Boyce. It's the smaller McBride on Boyce now. Boyce shoots over McBride and drains it from 15 feet away. We're tied up at 86. What a show! What a show! Color commentator. I'll tell you now, there's ice water in that young man's veins. He sent us into triple overtime with a bomb at the buzzer, and now he's tied this game up again. So Boyce, right, he shoots, he scores, ties up the game, just like he did at the end of the other overtime. So he is having a great game and coming in clutch for the Trojans. Play-by-play man. There's 56 seconds on the game clock. Michigan State with the ball. If you're Eddie Barker, do you call a timeout to regroup after losing a 4-point lead? Color commentator. No, the momentum is clearly with Troy. Calling a timeout would let them feel it more. Plus, the volatile freshman McBride is your go-to guy. You don't want him thinking on the sidelines or interacting with his teammates. You just want him to react on the court. Play-by-play man. McBride over half court with the ball. He jukes back and forth, trying to play Matador with Red Bull. Now 46 seconds on the game clock. 25 on the shot clock. A screen set by Baby Bear Wilkins. Again, the entire defense flows towards McBride. He kicks the ball off to Jordan. Jordan is open from 20 feet. He doesn't take the shot. Jordan back to McBride. Shot clock is down to 12. McBride, in face of two defenders, lets it fly. It's no good. They battle for the rebound. Crispin Rice pulls it away from Grizzly Bear Cousins. Troy has the ball. They can have the last shot if they want it. The shot clock is turned off with 29 seconds to go. This could be an upset for the ages. Color commentator. Jordan should have pulled the trigger on that shot. Instead, he deferred to McBride. That's what happens when a team doesn't develop chemistry over the long haul. Okay, and that's a true statement because MJ has really been beat down so much by Malcolm that he probably feels like he can't take the shot because if he misses it, right, Malcolm will be really, really upset at him. So instead, he shoots it back out to Malcolm instead of them truly working as a team. Play-by-play man. Backick on the dribble, letting the time run down. Color commentator. They want to start their assault on the basket with about 10 seconds to go. That gives them enough time to put in a loose rebound. Play-by-play man. The ball goes to Rice, now back to Backick. We're at 11 seconds now, the crowd at a fever pitch. Red Bull finds Boyce in the corner. He puts the ball on the floor, heading towards the basket. Michael Jordan takes away his lane. Boyce to Backick. 3 seconds. Rice is open beneath the rim, waving his arms. Now Backick spots him. The pass. It's off Rice's fingers. Buzzer sounds, and time expires. Color commentator. That was the game if he catches that pass. Crispin Rice was left alone in the mad scramble. He's looking up at the basket now, staring at his hands. The Red Bull knew someone was left open because a sea of green was converging on him. Play-by-play man. It didn't appear to be a bad pass. It was just an inch or so beyond Rice's reach. Color commentator. Rice could have ended this game and run into the arms of his fiancée on the biggest stage imaginable, but it wasn't meant to be. So we don't end triple overtime with a bang. But there are no whimpers here either. Just some tired legs on both sides and a big on the part of the Spartans, who survived what could have been a game-ending miscommunication on defense. So this is so sad if you're Crispin because you're right there underneath the basket. All you have to do is just catch the basketball and shoot it up, and the game is over, and you will have won the game for your team. And yet the ball goes right past him. And yeah, it does seem like he would have had to stretch out quite a bit. Perhaps Rocco was a little bit off on his pass, but still, Crispin is the one that everyone kind of looks to, and he looks to himself like, I can't believe I didn't get that ball and make that basket and end this game. So it's really sad for the Trojans, but really exciting for Michigan State because now they are going into yet another overtime.